I remember the first day I used the solar basin. When I found out that all the stains are out of my clothes, it was a magical experience I got, which is not the same case when we use these other normal basins. Because here you have to use your energy and time, and here it gave me time to do my other work.
Welcome back to Africa Science Focus, the weekly science and development show from SciDevNet. I'm Ogechi Ikianyo. You were just listening to Musiige Jovia, a fashion designer using an innovative technology known as a solar basin for washing clothes. This basin, produced by Ghetto Research Lab in Uganda's capital city of Kampala, uses solar energy to clean clothes with minimal water and detergent. As a result, water is conserved because users of the basins only need to soak dirty clothes in it and leave it under the sun to wash. Ghetto Research Lab is situated in a slum area struggling with plastic pollution. To address this issue, they repurpose improperly discarded plastics to produce the basins. To find out more about this initiative, our reporter, Aneta Felix, speaks with the lab's founder, Patrick Mujuzi.
The solar basin is this upcyclable kind of plastic material that it has been innovated by the Ghetto Research Lab purposely to help the mothers in their washing, to quicken, to ease the washing with the mothers in the slum. It is this basin that reduces all the costs and time that mothers were using to or spending using the other locally made basins. For instance, when you look at our solar basin, it uses very little detergent, So these mothers used to always buy detergent for 1,000 if they had to wash a few clothes, But for us, once you use our solar basin, you just need to put 1 teaspoon of detergent. So it is this kind of technology that we have brought up in the ghetto to reduce on the problems that the mothers face while washing clothes, home and mobile.
And I'm going to say that I'm really impressed by the solutions that your lab creates generally, trying to solve environmental problems in Africa. And of course, all the projects are very remarkable, but the one that really caught my eye was the solar basin project. Can you tell me a bit about, this project?
So a solar basin project was an innovation that we came up with some 3 years back. And, every solution comes after a challenge. So we realized many women, single mothers, were unemployed in the slum, and majority of them were doing daily washing, daily laundry. They are doing daily mobile laundry. They come to your house, your room. You give them all your clothes. Then they wash for you, and you pay them something. They go to another one like that. So we realized we had to innovate something to help them to ease their work. Because in a day, a woman could wash for 4 houses, and that means that if she was now bending and making this normal washing, by the time it becomes evening, she's so much exhausted, and some of the percentage of the money she has got is taken to the hospital. I hear to treat backbone, backaches, Yeah. So we sat with my group, and we realized there is certain kind of plastics which are not being recycled by the Chinese. So they are taking more of this PET plastic for the bottles, those simple plastics. But the other hard PVC plastics for those big tanks, they don't recycle them. And we realized we have plenty of them in the slum in pieces. So I tried to talk to my group how we can go about these plastics. And we realized we could collect and shred. Then after shredding, because we had an idea of making a solar basin. So we went to one of the local industries that is making plastic. It's called Nice House of Plastics. So we went to them, and I gave them the formula that we had in our mindset, how this basin could look like, and why could it be in that shape. So we joined ideas with the engineers at the Nice House of Plastic, and we started bringing now these plastics. Remember, in the slum, there are plastics which are littered, and the Chinese are not taking them. That's why the plastic pickers, we call them plastic scavengers, are not picking them, So, and they are causing a lot of problems, like they are acting as incubators of the Anopheles mosquito, which is prevailing so much in the slum and causing a lot of malaria to many children and even older people. So we started picking and shredding slowly by slowly, and we made a prototype with a company called Nice. So we took like 200 kilograms of shredded plastic, hard plastic, black in color. You know those tanks which are black in color? So we collected that kind of plastic and we shredded them, and we had to take around 200 kilograms to the company called Nice. There we paid a little bit of money, small money, to pilot our project, to facilitate the pilot. So it was a successful kind of venture that they were able to make for us 20 basins, solar soakers. We call them solar soakers, from soaking, Yeah, so they were able to make for us 20 solar basins, which we distributed to 10 mobile laundry single mothers in the slum. And each one, we gave her a book and a pen to note with what kind of challenges they are facing when they're using the solar, about the advantages they are experiencing by using the solar basin compared to these other normal basins they have been using. What about when it comes to cost reduction in their process? So they started giving us information. Every weekend we could sit with them, and each one would raise a hand and tell us, I was washing, but this is the solution. This is how I found it difficult. This is, they were talking of enlarging the size. They're talking of, Yeah. So at the end of the year, we got a good result, and now made us realize we had to now collect more and more kind of plastics all over slums of Kampala, that kind of plastic, which we are doing, and we want to start another business venture by making solar basins and selling them to the people at cheaper price.
Tell me, how does a solar basin work, and what makes it work?
It's just a normal basin. A normal basin, although it's a bit different from these other locally made basins, the round basins, Yeah, so a solar basin is made of a littered, unwanted, hard plastic. We get the plastics, shred them. We have a simple manual shredder. So we shred the plastics into smaller pieces. Then we take these pieces to the industry, the factory, and it is made in a shape kind of rectangle. It's not a square, it's a rectangle shape. Whereas, and its kind of loop is a bit bent, slanting. The other side is a bit higher, and this side is a bit lower, so that when you cover the polythene and they cover the glass, it has to be kind of something like slanting, And we realized we had to make that kind of fashion because we're targeting to attract the heat rays, sun rays, It's easier to attract sun rays when the basin is bent, just like the way they install the solar plates, they're somehow bent, not to accommodate too much water in case it rains, and to attract the sun rays, This is the same format we used. And It doesn't have a lot of chemistry, a lot of technicalities. It's just a plastic basin, but inside it contains a hard black polythene. This polythene is purposely put there to quicken and attract the sun rays, and convert the sun rays to heat. Yeah, so the black pepper attracts the sun rays and converts the rays to heat energy. That's why when you cover it up and you put it in the sunshine, after a few minutes, it depends on the humidity. So after a few hours or minutes, you'll find the water is warm, and once you decide to leave it there, it will be hot. It will turn to hot, Yeah. It has another kind of glass on top, which we cover on top after covering a polythene. And this glass is also plastic, although it's transparent plastic. Its purpose is to direct the heat rays, Yeah. So it doesn't have any other technicalities apart from a few parts of it.
When Patrick and his team were developing the solar basins, they hoped to make laundry an easier task, particularly for the single mothers who often undertake this work to provide for their families. The lab has partnered with at least 25 women from underserved communities. These women have transformed their livelihood and now run their mobile laundry services using the innovative solar-powered basins, replacing laborious hand washing. When the women had to wash clothes by hand, they got bruised and tired easily. But using the solar basin prevents injuries, cuts down laundry time, and allows them to earn more money for their families. Musiige Jovia is one of the women using the solar energy to boost her and her family's income.
Using the solar basin has increased the income in a way that, for instance, if in my tailoring, because it's not always that you always have clients here. So at the other side, I can go look for clients who would want to watch for them to do some laundry. I came to know Ghetto Research Lab in 2020 during COVID times.
How are you now working with them regarding the solar basin project?
Yeah, so during that time, it is that 2020 is the time they innovated that solar basin. I had no idea about it. And when they called women who were interested in learning and getting the basins, so I was among them, since I was available at that moment. So I got interested. So that's when I got in touch to get that basin, of which I paid for it now. Yeah, I have it at my home. So it's when this is the way I'm using that solar basin.
You initially got this basin because you wanted to use it for your own household and make your chores easier, right?
Yeah.
Did you then eventually start?
Yeah.
It's for mobile laundry. And when did you make that switch and how did you find clients?
Yeah, here in slums, you can make it yourself. So since it wasn't my passion or it wasn't my work to do mobile laundry, so when actually at the research while they are giving us these basins, their main point was to help the mobile laundry workers, and therefore when I got this basin, I marketed myself that I have a basin so I can do the mobile laundry. So I got one client, and it was a man who brought his clothes at my home, and it's where I started. So this one person recommended another. That's when I started doing it.
So tell me what sort of training the lab provided you with.
Yeah, Ghetto Research Lab taught us how to use it properly, because everyone, at first sight, everyone had his or her own idea how to use it. But here since as Patrick said, before, that it has a slanting structure. So here, first we put water. We put water that it's when it's like about to get full. Then we put detergent, 1 teaspoon. Then later we soak it, like we bring clothes, we immerse it. We make sure that the clothes are underwater. Then after we put it under the sunshine, and we can do other work. For instance, if I have in my shop, I have a client who is in want of me, so I can do any other thing as the clothes are getting washed.
The solar basins are crafted from discarded plastic collected from the streets of Kampala. The lab collaborates with a local manufacturing company to repurpose this plastic into solar basins, adhering to the lab's original design. To find out more about the issue of plastic pollution in Uganda, we hear from Aisha Faith, an environmentalist and the co-founder of Rural Water Initiative for Climate Action.
Plastic pollution is really one of the growing planetary health crises that we have in Uganda, because you find that actually plastic constitutes or makes up the biggest percentage of non-point source pollution of water bodies, environment spaces. So you find a lot of plastic in our landfills, in our, drainage systems. And right now it's also finding its way into affecting our human health and animal health. So that this is a growing problem, and different efforts are being made to curb this problem. But there is still a lot of need for sensitization and awareness, and as well as getting political will from the leaders and decision makers to end this crisis.
So how's the plastic pollution problem in Uganda really affecting the people there?
So plastic pollution in Uganda is really affecting the people in such a way that you find this is a growing challenge, and people are affected on a daily with the use of kavera. Kavera is the polythene bag that people use to carry grocery, carry daily, day-to-day, items. But it's everywhere, littering the green spaces, littering the soils and the waters. So you find that this is a major problem. Getting into the water spaces, as in terms of microplastics, it's finding its way in bloodstreams of the people. So we have microplastics affecting human health, and this is a major challenge. The recycling plants are not big enough to, manage complete, effective recycling and reuse of plastic. So there is this big challenge that we are facing, and one of them is the policies that are not really regulating the mass use of kavera.
So we see that the government is really leaving much to be desired when it comes to recycling, plastic products in Uganda. So I'm curious to know what your impression is of, citizen-led projects, like, for instance, the, Solar Basin by the Ghetto Research Lab. What do you think about projects like that?
I've heard about Ghetto Research Lab, and this is one of the social enterprises or community-based solutions that we really are having, and creating community-led solutions with the people for real-time problems. So I must commend the good work that the Ghetto Research Lab is doing, and the different innovations that are coming up, like the solar basin, is something that can really go a long way to show practical interventions on ending the planetary crises like plastic pollution that we're having. So if the solar basin is really going to come up and I'm positive, it's going to create solutions that we are looking for.
Okay. But on the flip side, do you see any potential drawbacks, or maybe any unintended consequences, for instance, that's associated with the use of recycled plastic in this manner?
Well, the consequence would be, still the existence of plastic, because if people are going to produce it and constantly say they're going to recycle it, then we shall have more and more plastics produced. But the rate at which it's being recycled, we cannot track that, and monitoring it is another expensive process. So if we can really mitigate, or reduce as much as we can on plastic production and find other ways of, packaging and, things like this sustainably, then that can be, a change that we can want to see. But if continuously we are producing plastic and saying we're going to recycle it, the rate of recycling may be much more lower than the rate of producing plastic.
Patrick and his team have faced several challenges in developing these basins. To tackle the shortfalls, the lab receives feedback from the women who use the solar basins. Patrick shares with Aneta the strategies his team employs to overcome challenges and consistently deliver valuable products.
So we began with, it was a bigger basin, because we thought that when we make it bigger, we could make the washing process quicker and easier. But we realized the more it becomes bigger, is the more it takes longer for the sunshine to heat and convert this water, So we slowly got information from the women who are using the basin, and we had to reduce the size a bit. It really needed somewhere where humidity is high, and like in the desert, where sunshine can come all the day long, which is not the same in Africa. I mean, in Uganda. Yeah. So we realized to fit our environment and the weather changes, we needed to make a more smaller and finer basin, although it could accommodate a few clothes. And once we did this and gave it to to these women, so they gave us good result. Although the basin is taking a few clothes, but it washes faster and it washes brighter.
How many clothes can fit into the basin right now, and how long does it take to properly wash the clothes?
If I'm talking about, let me give an example of the jeans, jeans for other people, like my jeans, So I can soak like 5 jeans and a few shirts, like 3. Then I fill that basin with water. Then I put 1 teaspoon of detergent powder. Then I cover it up and put on the sunshine. And it can take, it depends on the humidity levels. Right now, it wants to rain. It is going to rain. It is very harder to use the solar basin at such a cloudy time, It may take longer time because there's no sun rays up there in the sky. But when the humidities are high, when the sun is high, there's a time, some seasons the sunshine is very strong, right from the morning to evening. It can take like 40 minutes to an hour for those clothes to get clean.
You raised an important point about humidity levels. So in the raining season, is this a product that can work?
We are still innovating around that basin. Because now when it rains, during the rainy season, it's hard to use the solar basin effectively. We use it, but it takes longer because there's no sunshine, like it is right now. But it can also work, but it takes much more time. And the women would love to use their normal basin. Or even if they're using these solar basins, they're not soaking. They just, Yeah. But we are trying to innovate around making this basin be used even at night, because someone can decide to wash the clothes at night. It can rain for a week without seeing the sun in the sky. The environment has changed, So we are also trying to innovate around that, and we are going to put a battery on site, just outside the basin. It will be a small battery to accommodate and store some heat energy to be used at night. But it's still tricky. Innovation is not a one-day thing. It takes time. Slowly by slowly, we try many times and failing until when we get the best result out of what we are trying to investigate.
Can you tell me a bit about the behind-the-scenes challenges that you and your team face in building this basin?
A number of challenges, because plastic, although it is littered everywhere, but sometimes you find it in stagnant areas, stagnant areas, It's not easy to pick them and clean them, But we enjoy do it because it's a way of conserving our environment and promoting hygiene in the slum. The other challenge could be making many basins that fit the number of women, because as the women started washing using the solar basin, they were now started spreading the gospel about it. And we got a main influx of women coming into the lab and want to become part of the lab in the Department of Solar Basin, because they want also to do the same work of mobile laundry as their colleagues were doing. But now, since the supply of the plastics materials is a bit lower, then we can't make it happen to them all. Then also, we have a challenge of, because we have some more other ideas we want to incorporate, like the battery in future. Or we are still having a challenge to know what kind of battery we can incorporate, and if we have known it, where do we buy it from? And if we have got the place where to buy it from, how much money and where are we getting the money from? Then the other challenge could be we want to make this for business, so people can come and buy it. We distribute them to different maybe supermarkets all over the country, but we are lacking enough money to facilitate the process of making that basin, So the saving we are doing from the department of that women who are doing their mobile laundry is not enough. It's not enough to make like 1,000 basins at a go. Yeah. So if we could make like 1,000 basins at a go, there we are in business. People will start buying it, We have got many visitors. Many people are following me on social media platforms, and they want to buy this basin, but we don't have them in stock. We have to first collect the plastics, shred them. It takes time. The other problem, we don't have a shredder, so we find ourselves now taking these plastics and paying for another factory to shred them. All that means costs, And when we try to talk with this plastic company, they tell us big budgets, and they tell us for them they don't believe that it can even work. But for us, we are innovators. We believe anything can work as long as you want it to work.
That's all from us at Africa Science Focus today. If you want to find out more, head to the SciDevNet website, and that's www.scidev.net. Today's show was produced by Alice Hurst, with editing by Ogechi Ekeanyao and Titilope Fadere, and reporting by Aneta Felix. I'm Ogechi Ekeanyao. Until next time, goodbye. This project was funded by the European Journalism Centre through the Solutions Journalism Accelerator. The fund is supported by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Do you have any comments, questions, or feedback about our podcast episodes? Let us know at podcast@scidev.net. Africa Science Focus is produced by SciDevNet and distributed in association with your local radio station.